This story in 1981 and 1989 in Mission Line of Death. Over the blue waters of the Mediterranean, two dots appeared on a radar screen. Unknown, approaching fast. Aboard the U.S. aircraft carrier USS Nimitz, air controllers called out, "Bandits inbound." Seconds later, two F-14 Tomcats screamed into the sky. What followed was a dogfight that would echo through the Cold War. A battle between superpower precision and dictatorship defiance. This is the story of the Gulf of Sidra, the day the U.S. Navy told Muammar Gaddafi, "The sea belongs to no one." In the early 1980s, Libya's ruler Muammar Gaddafi had declared the entire Gulf of Sidra as Libyan territorial waters, drawing a bold line across the Mediterranean known as the Line of Death. Any aircraft crossing that line, he warned, would be shot down. For the U.S., that was unacceptable. Freedom of navigation was a cornerstone of international law. And in the Cold War chessboard, to concede that line would mean setting a precedent, allowing other nations to claim oceans as their own. So in August 1981, the U.S. Navy sent two aircraft carrier battle groups, USS Nimitz and USS Forrestal, to conduct exercises south of that line. They weren't just flying drills, they were sending a message. International waters stay international. But Gaddafi wasn't bluffing, and the sky over the Gulf of Sidra was about to explode. Scene 1, 1981. The first clash. On the morning of August 19, 1981, two U.S. Navy F-14 Tomcats from VF-41, Black Aces, call signs Fast Eagle 102 and Fast Eagle 107, were flying combat air patrol when radar controllers detected two fast-moving contacts approaching from the Libyan coast. The contacts were MiG-23 Flogger jets, Soviet-built, fast, and aggressive. They were closing in, head-on. For nearly 3 minutes, both sides maneuvered, each probing the other's resolve. The MiGs locked on radar, descending for attack. Then, one of the Libyan pilots launched an AA-2 Atoll missile. It missed. The Americans fired back. Two AIM-9 Sidewinders streaked through the sky. Both MiGs exploded in fireballs over the Mediterranean. Two Libyan pilots were dead. The Tomcats returned safely to the Nimitz. The message was clear. The line of death had been crossed and erased. Scene 2, 1989. The sequel, 8 years later, almost the same scene replayed. January 4th, 1989. The USS John F. Kennedy was operating near the Gulf of Sidra when two more Libyan MiG-23s launched from Al Bumba Air Base. Again, two U.S. Navy F-14 Tomcats from VF-32 Swordsman scrambled to intercept. The MiGs locked radar. No radio calls, no warnings. For 9 tense minutes, the jets closed in, separated only by miles and decisions. Following strict rules of engagement, the Tomcats held fire until the MiGs turned toward them again. The lead F-14 fired an AIM-7 Sparrow. Miss. A second missile was launched. Direct hit. The remaining MiG tried to evade, but a Sidewinder found its tail. Two fireballs marked the end of Gaddafi's challenge. Again. No U.S. losses, no war. But once again, the world watched and understood. The U.S. Navy ruled these skies. Scene 3. The political message. Behind the scenes, the Gulf of Sidra was never just about air combat. It was about demonstrating global power and credibility. Each engagement was a carefully calibrated show of force, a reminder that the United States could project air superiority anywhere on Earth at any time. To the Soviets, it was a signal. Your clients cannot contest the West. To Gaddafi, it was humiliation. Twice. Both incidents reshaped modern rules of engagement. They showed the importance of disciplined pilots, trained not only to fight, but to think politically at Mach 2. The success of the Tomcats cemented their legend. For decades, VF-41 and VF-32 became symbols of U.S. naval aviation mastery, the real Top Guns before Hollywood ever filmed them. Strategically, Libya's defeat deterred further direct challenges for years, but the Gulf of Sidra became a symbol of unresolved tension, a place where lines on maps could become battlefields in seconds. In war, some battles last minutes, but define decades. The Gulf of Sidra incidents were not wars. They were warnings, broadcast at supersonic speed. Each missile fired carried not only explosive warheads, but messages of deterrence, discipline, and dominance. Over those Mediterranean waves, the Cold War turned briefly hot, and the pilots of the U.S. Navy proved that readiness is not about aggression, it's about resolve. Because sometimes, peace survives not through silence, but through strength.